My name is Lyndon C. I designed a 6-page pamphlet titled 8 Activities for the Recently Released. In my pamphlet, I outlined 8 activities a recently released individual can follow for a successful re-entry to society after incarceration. In this video, I am going to discuss one of the 8 activities for a successful re-entry to society after incarceration. Applying for the Certificate of Relief from Disabilities or Certificate of Good Conduct is a way to restore rights lost due to conviction. To follow along with this video, email your request to the email address on the screen. I will send you a free copy of my pamphlet titled 8 Activities for the Recently Released. With that request, I am also going to send you the application you will need to apply for the certificate that fits your rights restoration need. In this video, I'm going to give you important information for an individual seeking another idea on how to successfully re-enter society after incarceration. The restoration of rights such as employment opportunities lost due to a conviction is a process that requires the individual to be free from incarceration, and in some cases the individual must have completed community supervision. An example of employment opportunities lost to conviction are like armed security guard, bus driver 19A certification, and notary public, just to name a few. The right to vote is another right lost due to conviction. I will go into more detail about this right and how it is restored later in the video. The right to hold public office is also lost due to conviction. I will go into more detail about how this right is restored later in the video. Before I go into detail about how the Certificate of Relief from Disabilities and the Certificate of Good Conduct can help restore those employment opportunities, I want you to understand it takes time for people to see our future when they're focused on our past. I am positive all of you have heard that saying, actions speak louder than words. I designed a 6-page pamphlet titled 8 Activities for the Recently Released. In my pamphlet, I outlined 8 activities a recently released individual can follow for successful re-entry to society. This is a video detailing the rights lost due to conviction and the process of obtaining the Certificate of Release from Disabilities and the Certificate of Good Conduct. In my pamphlet, I give you an overview of a Certificate of Relief from Disabilities and an overview of a Certificate of Good Conduct. During this video, I'm going to go into detail about each certificate and which will best fit your rights restoration needs. The following information comes from the New York State Parole Handbook. First, I'm going to tell you the difference between the Certificate of Relief from Disabilities and the Certificate of Good Conduct. By law, you are eligible for a Certificate of Relief if you have not been convicted of more than one felony. For this purpose, 2 or more felony convictions stemming from the same indictment count as one felony. 2 or more convictions stemming from 2 or more separate indictments filed in the same court prior to conviction under any of them also count as one felony. The Board of Parole may also issue a Certificate of Relief if you are eligible offender who has been convicted in another jurisdiction who now lives in New York State. A Certificate of Relief may be issued upon an eligible individual's release from a correctional facility or at any time thereafter. The Certificate of Relief from Disability is for an individual who has 1 felony or less. And with that 1 felony or less, you are able to apply for the Certificate of Relief from Disabilities immediately after release. Now let's talk about the Certificate of Good Conduct. The Certificate of Good Conduct is for an individual who has 2 or more felonies. If your most serious conviction is a C, D, or E felony, you have to wait at least 3 years from the time that you got off of parole in order to apply for a Certificate of Good Conduct. If your most serious conviction is an A or B felony, you have to wait at least 5 years from your release from parole to apply for your certificate of good conduct. How to become a New York State notary. The following information comes from the National Notary website on your screen. The requirements to become a New York State notary are: you must be at least 18 years of age. You must reside within the state or maintain a business office in New York. You must read, write, and understand English. You must be a person of good moral character. What is the definition of good moral character? The following definition of good moral character comes from the Google website. The ability on part of the person licensed to serve the public in a fair, honest, and ethical manner. Another requirement an individual must have is the equivalent of a common school education. The last requirement to become a New York State notary is no conviction of a felony or certain misdemeanors unless an executive pardon or parole board certificate of good conduct has been received. I'm going to repeat that last requirement because it goes to the heart of the purpose of this video. No conviction of a felony or certain misdemeanors unless an executive pardon or parole board certificate of good conduct has been received. The last entry is the purpose of this video, and that's to make you aware, contrary to popular belief, you are eligible to become a notary public as soon as you receive an executive pardon or parole board certificate of good conduct. These are the requirements needed to become a New York State notary. The following information on how to become 19A certified after release comes from the New York State Department of Motor Vehicle Bus Driver Unit. Under Section 509-CC of the Vehicle and Traffic Law, this conviction permanently disqualifies him/her for being a school bus driver in New York State. This disqualification may be waived only if 5 years have expired since an individual was discharged or released from a sentence of imprisonment for these convictions, and a certificate of relief from civil disabilities has been granted pursuant to Section 701 of the New York State Corrections Law, or a certificate of good conduct has been issued pursuant to Article 23 of the Corrections Law. At the time of this taping, Johnson Premier Entertainment is still screening email responses for individuals who overcame the armed security guard requirement using a certificate of relief from disability or certificate of good conduct to achieve employment. If this call applies to you or someone you know and you are willing to share your experience, please contact Johnson Premier Entertainment at the email on your screen. The question of how are voting rights restored is answered in Section 8 of the New York State Parole Handbook. The right to vote is automatically restored when you complete your maximum sentence or are discharged by the Board of Parole. While on parole, if you have been issued a certificate of relief from disability or a certificate of good conduct, you may register to vote. When you receive your certification packet, you will find information from the Legal Action Center that explains some jobs in New York, like police officer and firefighter, are considered public offices. Even though a certificate of relief from disability is ordinarily sufficient to lift a statutory bar to employment, it cannot do this if the position is considered a public office. Only a certificate of good conduct can lift a statutory bar to a job that is considered to be public office. A certificate will also restore your right to serve on a jury. Finally, after watching this video, I hope you have a very clear understanding of how a certificate can really help when you're looking for work or applying for occupational license such as 19A certification as a driver, school bus, or a notary public. An employer or licensing agency must consider your certificate as evidence that you are rehabilitated. Thank you for your time. Please request your certification packet from the information on your screen. And be sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and contact me at the information on your screen. I am available for individual or group sessions to assist, explain, and or notarize the certification packet. As always, don't stop trying and never give up hope. No limits.